So somehow I ended up doing this video a little bit after I wanted to. I have been on Plenty of Fish. And those of you that have been on Plenty of Fish know that Plenty of Fish, one person told me it's been called Plenty of Fake. I know I've had nothing but negative experiences on there. I do have a friend that a few years ago, like 8 years ago, met a guy on there. He turned out to be a jerk, but then she met somebody else that was fabulous, and she's been with him for a while, and they're engaged now. But I went back on because this whole single mother by choice thing wasn't working out for me, and I had not met anyone. And then two guys that I met, and we went back and forth through messaging. One guy, we ended up exchanging numbers, and then he asked me to go out, and I said yes. And then he didn't say anything else in the text, and so I was like, okay, date, time, ... question mark. And he was like, go, I'll work on that. And then I didn't hear from him after. Well, he sent me some pictures of him that I didn't ask for, and then I didn't hear from him after that. So I was like, he was either just trying to see if I was fake. It was just something that was really wrong about it, and I probably shouldn't have given him a chance anyway, because I wasn't really interested in him after. It was kind of one of those things, well, he's all right, but he's not really what I was looking for. So I saw this guy in my want to meet matches, and I'm not sure how long he has been there, but I just figure, okay, well, if you want to meet, make an effort. But wasn't sure how to find the profiles of those people. And then one day I was looking through the site, I found the feature where I could click on his picture, which I didn't realize before, and actually go to his profile. So I looked at it, and he turned out to be somewhat sort of my type, but I went back and forth about contacting him, because I was like, if I can research and find this feature, then surely you can research and find it. So clearly you're not really that interested. But then I said, well, maybe he isn't really aware of it. Whatever the case may be, after going back and forth for a while, I decided about a week ago, about September 30th, I said, let me just go ahead and message this guy. Let me see what happens. If he's interested, we can see where it goes from there. So I message him, not really necessarily expecting a response, and he responds. He's not African American. So after he responded, which was a pleasant response, like he was interested, I definitely had to ask, because he made a comment first. He brought up the whole race thing, because on some of my pictures, he said that I looked like I was Indian. And I have heard this before. Clearly, I don't think I look like that now, but I have heard this before. And so I let him know that I am African American, and he didn't really say anything. So I messaged him back, and I said, well, is it a problem? Like, would you have responded had you realized right away that I was African American? And it turns out that he dates African American women, so he doesn't have a problem with this. So we went back and forth chatting, and then I didn't hear from him for a few days. So I was like, okay, well, if I don't hear from him by this date and this time, I'm going to go ahead and delete my profile off of the site, because I'm not finding anybody, and the people that are responding is like, oh my gosh, are you serious? So the night that I was trying to figure out, well, should I do it tonight, should I do it tomorrow, or the Sunday, he messages me back and didn't realize that it was his turn in the whole message tag team thing, which I didn't necessarily believe. So I told him, well, I just figured you either weren't a real person or you weren't interested. So he messages me his number, and then I text him to give him my number, because I'm like, I started this whole thing out. I contacted you first. It's your time to show some interest and take over from here, which is something in his profile that it does say that he'll take over, whatever. And so text messaged. He sent me a couple pictures, which I was like, oh my gosh, that's a bad sign. On Saturday, he was like, we'll talk Sunday. Well, Sunday, didn't hear from him. Turns out he says he was spending time with his family because it's close to the anniversary of his mom's death, which I believe at this point. I mean, he sounded pretty sincere. So the second part of our conversation tonight went well. He's a talker. There's not a lot of dead space. That's good. I think I could keep up with him, but you know how you have to kind of get used to a person's cadence and pauses, and sometimes it's a little hard on the cell phone. But I have just a few questions that I would like to ask somebody that I'm possibly interested in from the start, just to establish some things. I didn't get to ask any of my questions, and I don't think it's a selfish thing. I just think, like we talked, I looked back and our conversation was like 26 minutes, and it was just not enough time for me to get in there. He was like, well, I need to go and finish doing my laundry or something. It could be true. It could totally be true, but I don't know. My thing is who ends the conversation with, yeah, keep in touch. I'll call you or you can call me. Yeah. Who ends the conversation like that? So I still can't tell if he's interested. And I'm in a place in my life now where I need to know you're either interested in getting to know me and possibly dating, or I don't know what other motivation you could possibly have. I don't need any friends at this point in my life. Definitely not any male friends that get established this way. So I just need to know, are you interested? Do you want to eventually go out on a date or what? Cuz I don't have a lot of time here to be fooling around. I'm not trying to rush anything, but I'm also not trying to waste any time trying to figure out what anybody's thinking or where anybody's head is at. At this point, cards go on the table. We find out if we have an interest, we hit the ground running. And I don't know what's going on. So at this point, my feeling is that I'm not going to call or text him. But at the same time, I don't want to be hissy fitish. I don't want to be like, well, it's not going how I imagined it. So, I don't want to be that way. So I don't know what to do. But I don't want to waste any time. And at this point, I have no clear vision of where this could be going at all. And like I said, I didn't get to ask my questions to even know if there are red flags or turnoffs. So I'll just have to wait and see. Well, my. Okay, so this morning, I get a text that says, Buenos dias, have a great day. Love it. Okay, I don't think guys understand that is so awesome when, especially for me, because I couldn't tell really how the conversation went last night, but the fact that somebody texts you in the morning to start your day and tells you that they hope you have a great day is a good sign, right? I like it anyway. All right. It's Friday evening. It is 7:21 p.m. and the kiss of death has been thrown out. So here's the deal. That guy that I've been talking to, well, I guess I haven't even been talking to him. We had a good bit of exchanges, very small talk through the Plenty of Fish website. That's suspect. But, and then he ended up giving me his number and I gave him mine. And we texted each other. He called me on Sunday, but I was busy doing some stuff because it was pretty late when he calls, like 9:30. I guess it's not too late, but I'll just put all my stuff off. And then, so we ended up talking Monday. We talked Tuesday, I think. I don't know. We talked like twice, maybe three times, but I think it was twice. We definitely did some texting. And I determined that I was not planning on texting him again because I just can't get a full vibe of whether he's interested or not, or like what his deal is. And it's kind of hard to explain, but I don't want to do anything where I feel like I'm putting in a lot of effort trying to get somebody. I definitely want it to be both ways, and it probably is, and maybe I'm just a little bit sensitive because all my relationships have been horrible and I don't plan on doing that again. So we talked on Wednesday, and during our conversation, he got a call from his job and they asked him to come in a little bit earlier than he was expecting to come in. That's kind of suspect because it was about 10 something at night, but I don't know the ins and outs of his job, so I didn't want to make a really big deal out of it. So being that he supposedly had to be there super early, I kind of figured we weren't going to talk, even though he was like, oh, we'll talk more tomorrow. So whatever the case may be, we didn't end up talking about 9 or 9:30 last night. He texted me and he was like, I'm watching some football until I fall asleep again, and I hope your day was good, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk more this weekend and maybe plan an outing. Dun, dun, dun. Because both of the guys I was talking to before, whenever it came time to, well, this before, because the other ones I talked to in the past were certified psychotic, and one of them told me he actually had a mental disorder, and the way he was talking, I believe him. But the two guys that I talked to before I ended up conversing with this guy, we talked, and then when they asked me to go out, that was it. Didn't hear from them anymore. So as soon as he said that, I was like, yep, this is pretty much it. I don't think that he's going to contact me. First of all, who says we'll chat more this weekend and maybe go on an outing this weekend? The weekend is Friday night, could be Saturday, could be Sunday. So that's vague to begin with. Okay. Number two, that's vague. I mean, that's my whole big thing. That's very vague. You didn't say what you were thinking about going, what the outing is supposedly being. So my plans at this point: delete profile, shampoo carpet, clean house, do my work planning for next week, relax, possibly get some movies. We'll see. All right, car inspected, getting ready to hit the gym. It's Saturday. And I was just thinking to myself that I don't want to be faithless, but I do want to be for real. Did not hear from the guy yesterday. And, you know, I don't want to spend my whole day checking, was that my phone? So my plan today is to go home, clean the house, shampoo the carpets, and maybe pick up a couple of movies after I hit this treadmill. So let's get it in. All right, it is Sunday morning. And, didn't call, didn't text, haven't heard from the guy. So it's like I said, that was his way of letting me know that he's really ultimately not interested, is by not communicating. Come on, dude, really? You could have said something. You didn't even have to say it. You could have sent a text. But I have decided that tonight I am deleting my profile. This online date thing just does not work well for some of us, and I'm one of those people. And I'm not about to pay match because there's not enough men that are usually interested in my type. So about to run these errands and then head home to do some house cleaning and hopefully some relaxation.